Um, hey guys, this is Michael, the GOAT, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video. Usually I post gameplay videos, but I wanted to do a little more educational content and a guide on how to play stages 1 and stages 1 and 2 are very important. They set the tone for the rest of the game. How you play your stage 1 and 2 will obviously affect how your mid and late game will go. Playing it correctly will give you a more focused sense of direction. Sense of direction is great because in TFT you get all these units and items and stuff, and you don't know what to play later on. But it can really help you get that direction going. And having a consistently good early game is also a huge predictor of your success for the rest of your other games. So what we're going to go over today is how to play stage 1, 2 through 1, 4, and all the different things that can happen in this stage. I'll go over what that means in a little bit. How to play stage 2, and at what points you should be doing different things and what you should be focusing on during stage 2. And I'm also going to go over what you have control over in each of the stages and what you cannot control. TFT is a game of RNG and RNG manipulation and your skill in that. So there's going to be a lot of things that you can control and what you can't control with how much RNG is in TFT. So first we're going to go over the starting carousel. The starting carousel is the first thing that you can control in your game because one, you're picking up an item, and two, you're picking up your unit, a unit with the item. So usually on the starting carousel, people look at the units and go, "Oh, I'm going to play this comp," but you really should be focusing on the items because the units will pop up later on, but the items won't. The way items in TFT work is that you're not guaranteed item at every single item every single game, but it will go. It's like picking the items out of a bag. Every single item is in a bag, and what item gets dropped to you is completely random. So whatever you pick on that first carousel, you have to be okay with getting another one of those items. So we'll start talking about stage 1. So stage 1 is where you get items, gold, and buy units while fighting minions. And I want to make an emphasis on what you should be seeing the units as. So you're not supposed to just look at these units as units. Look at them as gold as well. So you're gonna get dropped 1 cost, 2 cost, 3 costs, and we have to pay attention to that cost because um, hitting econ during the stage or hitting that first 10 gold interest can give you an advantage over everyone else in the early game. So when you get dropped 2 cost units, you have to look to sell them so that you can hit that 10 gold interval before anyone else and hit that interest. Blue orbs usually drop items, gray orbs drop champions, and there's lots of variance in what you can be dropped game to game. So maybe one game you're dropped 6. Usually you get dropped 6 gold in the form of items or gold, and 6 gold, and you'll be starting with 3 items. But sometimes you'll start with 2 items and 9 gold, or like 2 items and a Nico, or a Nico and whatever. So there's a lot of variance of what can happen. And we like to call these starts. So during a lot of streams and videos, you'll hear a lot of the time that someone has a Nico start, gold start, 2 item start, and this is because of the variance in what gets dropped. So this is another thing that is out of your control, but how you play with your start is in your control. A lot of people look at Nico starts as weaker than a gold start, but it depends on how you're playing your gold start. If you're wasting all your gold at the beginning, maybe a Nico start is actually better, or the 6 gold is better than 9 gold if you're not doing what you need to. So I wanted to first go over stage 1-3. So stage 1-3 is the round right after your initial beat the minions round. You can get dropped gold units, gold Nikos, whatever. In this example, I'm getting dropped. I got dropped a Sejuani, a Leona, and a Heimer, which is 3-1 cost. So I get dropped 3 gold here. That's what I'm looking at it as. And what I'm doing first is looking at units on my board, and I'm buying one, most importantly, the pairs. So I got dropped a Sejuani. There's a Sejuani in my shop, so I'm gonna buy those pairs. And I'm looking at my items on bench. It's important to look at your items and so important to look at your items and units because they go together. And so if I have more AD items, I'm gonna buy the AD champions in my shop. If I get more AP items, I'm gonna buy the AP champions. Um, Another factor is what is strong in the current meta. So if mages are strong, you're gonna want to buy those. But in a very well balanced patch, how you're supposed to be buying your units is in pairs and dependent on the items that you get. So here we are. This is the end of stage 1-3, and we got dropped a rod. So what I did was I looked at the shop from the previous round, or this same round before I got the rod drops, and I ended up buying the mages because mages like to use rods. So here's stage 1-4, which can be the most it's the most important part of stage one because you have to make a lot of decisions very quickly. Um, if you get dropped more gold here than units or than items, you have to ask yourself, can I make 10 gold here? Because hitting that 10 gold interval is very important. You also have to ask yourself if you're close to upgrading your one cost and what benefits are there pre-leveling right now. So say I have a Sejuani pair, right? And I need to hit Sejuani 2, or I have two one cost pairs. I'm not going to pre-level or level there because I need to hit those one cost pairs before. So I want to go over this example. I hit the Sejuani upgrade that I was holding from the round prior, and I see Cavaliers in my shop. So I'm obviously going to buy those Cavaliers and play around Lilia right here. But in general, you play the unit, you look at your traits on the left and see what you want to buy based on that to fulfill those traits. So right here, I would be selling everything and buying Lilia and Braum. And I do just that, and I get rewarded because I get my next drop here, and it's a Nunu, and that's another Cavalier that I can play. I want to emphasize that. So why am I not selling my Nunu, right? Um, right here, I wouldn't pre-level, even though I want to hit Lilia and Braum, because that Nunu is strong enough to spike me later on, or spike me the next round. You kind of have to ask yourself, what is my board right now? And like, you have to ask yourself a lot of questions. What is my board? What benefits are there? And what can I do right now? Achieve what I want to achieve. So here's more. Here's the start of stage two, and these questions are something you should ask yourself every single round from stage two and beyond to make sure you're staying on track with what you want to achieve. So ask yourself every round, how strong am I compared to the rest of the lobby? Am I in a position to win streak? Should I aim to lose streak? Will this board save me the most HP? What items can I slam here that save me HP? What will help me win? What will leveling here help me accomplish? Um, and we at stage 2-1, we get to choose our first augment, and augments are another one of the controllable elements of TT. You make 3 choices for sure each game, and the augments offered at stage 2 are completely random. There's some augments that will not pop up, but at this stage you cannot influence augment choice. You'll see a lot of people trying to add certain traits or items onto their units because they think they can influence stage 2 when stage 2 is completely random. You cannot do that. So augment selection here, I wanted to go over what we should be looking at when we're choosing our augment. So one, you have to choose what is strongest for your board, and what is good early. So early game, there are 2 types of augments. There are combat augments and there are econ augments. Rich Get Richer is an econ augment. Sunfire and Future Sight are combat augments. Combat meaning it influences combat. Econ meanings it helps you. So what I'm thinking right here is I can't take Sunfire board because if you look at my items on the left, I already have a Sunfire cape built. Or I have a Sunfire cape there, and it's very early on. I can take Rich Get Richer. You have to also ask like, what am I aiming for? And in this situation specifically, I'm aiming for a reroll comp, and of course, for for reroll comps, having econ is very. Another thing that can go into your augment selection is the stats of the augments, and there's a website called tactics.tools where you can go and actually look at the augments for whatever rank. I usually choose Masters Plus, and you can see their top 4 rate, their win rate at each of the stages, and you can choose your augments based on that. But you also have to look at your board and how it affects your comp later on. Another strategy of stage 2 is something called double leveling. So we're going to 2-2 and 2-3 here, and this is pretty reliant on scouting. Um, See how strong other people are. If you can maintain your win streak, this is something that you do. So they call it double leveling because you press the buy XP button twice, and you go to 5 before carousel. So you have to be looking at other people's boards, determining if leveling right here will allow you to maintain your win streak. Something you only do with win streak. You never do this with a lose streak because you're maintaining econ in a lose streak. But right here at the, you usually do it at the very last second too. I'm deciding I'm putting the Shen in because it's gonna help me win my next. For stage 2, 5, and 2, 6, the goal is to usually to continue your win streak or loss streak. If either of those get broken, you want to do the exact same thing next round. So if you winning for the first 3 rounds and you the next one, you usually want to lose the one after that. And it is also best to just continue asking yourself all the questions. The wrap up is to stay focused on those questions that I listed. And also, one little tip is to keep this in your mind constantly through every game. It's really easy to get lazy with it. Uh, One thing people like to do in TFT is just autopilot and or any game in general. And autopiloting is really going to hinder your growth in long term, and something that it's you have to fight against it if you want to constantly get better. But yeah, that was my wrap up for stage 2. I'm gonna be doing a stage 3 and stage 4 guide. But if you enjoyed, check out my other content. If you want to see me actually play out that stage 2, I tried my best to say out loud all of my decisions in game. I'm gonna be uploading this Lilia game today or tomorrow. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed.